Thank you for asking me here today. I don't speak publicly very often, so please forgive me if I'm a bit nervous. But for those of you who haven't heard about our project, in a nutshell, it's a crafting community tribute to Australia's servicemen and women for more than a century of service in all wars, conflicts and peacekeeping operations. That's taken straight off the government website. Our rather simple plan is to actually create a massive field of poppies to be shown at in the forecourt at Fed Square along the Swanston Street edge. The size of the display will depend on the number of poppies we get, but we're actually hoping for 25,000. The project started when Marg and I one night were sitting around deciding that we might want to make some poppies as a tribute to both our fathers who fought in World War II. Marg's father fought in Europe and my father for the Australian Infantry Forces, but in New Guinea for the most part. My father's battalion has a tree in the Avenue of Honour, and so what we decided we would do was yarn bomb that tree with 120 poppies on Remembrance Day last year. What happened as a result of that as we were making our poppies and at our knitting groups and on trains and at the football and wherever we were making poppies, people were actually asking us what we were doing and basically letting us know that they wanted to be involved somehow. You know, I'd like to make poppies, that would be really nice. It's a great thing to do. In any case, what happened as a result of that, then those people's mothers wanted to make poppies and their aunts wanted to make poppies and the retirement village that their aunt visited wanted to make poppies. And all of a sudden we had hundreds of people making poppies for us. At that stage we decided that instead of a small 120 poppy yarn bomb, this actually had a lot of potential as a community activity. So as I was already working for Fed Square with their community wellbeing program at the time on another project, I suggested to them that this might be a good thing, that they might like to pick it up. And they were just delighted. I don't know at that stage that any of us knew what the potential of it would be in terms of a community activity and what an inclusive activity it would be. I've been running monthly workshops at Fed Square now for about 6 months. I think we started in June last year, so just on 8 months. Fed Square offered us, apart from their support and their promotional opportunities and the monthly workshop space, they also offered us some exhibition space for the launch of the program in November. And they offered us the massive forecourt. Fill it if you like, they said, which was a great thing, and I'm not sure anybody expected us to do that, but we are going to do it. In November, what we did was a soft launch of the program, and we had, in one of the absolutely fabulous atriums they've got there, we actually put up our poppies. And I don't know, you'll see them on here, but in fact, as your Anzac project video was running through, you could see that field of the hanging poppies that we had. And Ted Ballew came and visited us, so I think we blew him away a bit, didn't we, Ted? It's a massive amount of poppies. We expected to get about 500 within, I think we started in late June. By the end of, by the 11th of November, which was the launch, we had 5,000, which was our initial goal. So that shows you just how it resonated with the community. So we subsequently set up a blog and a Facebook page, and the story got out, and people kept on sending us poppies from places that we'd never heard of. The number 5,000 had no particular significance, so when we decided then it would be 25,000 poppies, that had no significance either, except that we knew that that would make a really fantastic visual impact. And we want the soldiers to see them as they walk past, the veterans to see them, we want their families to see them, because ultimately it's a tribute of gratitude and remembrance and respect from the crafting community. And it's pretty safe to say that we underestimated the value of such a project on the community. So fast forward now to there you are. Fast forward now to February, and we've got 8,000 poppies, and we've got many, many more thousands coming that we know of. And every week more poppies arrive in our post office box, somewhere between 200 and 500 poppies. And they're just the ones that are arriving for me. What seems to be happening now is that local libraries and local community groups and retirement villages and schools are all taking up this project with such gusto. And we're encouraging all of those organisations to actually run this project locally so that they make their poppies, whatever number that they deem to be important to them. Some are sort of basing it around the number of people that are enlisted from their local area. Some are basing it around some other figure that they create for themselves. Many are just basing it around what they think is achievable. And I keep on telling them that I think that they're aiming too low. But nevertheless, there are thousands and thousands of poppies being made out there, and all those organisations will be running their own local programs with the poppies being displayed locally before they send them to us for Anzac Day 2015. So we're pretty excited about all of that. Sorry, I've just got a bit off track. I get a bit excited about the whole thing. We also now have a sister organisation in New Zealand have taken up the sort of the gauntlet, and they're aiming to raise to make 5,000 poppies as well. Many people have asked us what's going to happen to the poppies after 2015, and the short answer to that is we don't know yet. We thought we were going to have 5,000. We're going to have significantly more than that. We had hoped to be able to hand this project over in its entirety to the War Memorial in Canberra, but they've said no thank you. So now we're looking at other options. Anybody? I mean, some of the options we've thrown around are that we could, tour this to capital cities and other regional centres around Australia. We'd certainly love to see that happen. I know that today we've been talking about, the Victorian aspect of this, but really this is a national and to some degree international. We've had quite a significant proportion of poppies come from overseas, Europe and America. And the stories that sort of get published on our blog about those people that are contributing are just absolutely wonderful. So there are still some things for us to work out. I don't think we ever expected it to be as big as it is. No, Margaret's sitting up there crocheting poppies, shaking her head. So beyond 2015, we're not quite sure what we'll do with our poppies. But whatever we do with our poppies, we know it will be big. We do know that they won't be sold. We don't want to cut across the fundraising opportunities that poppies give to the RSL and other organisations that sell them, so they won't be sold. And just as an aside, to date the project's been self-funded, and where now contributors pay for their own materials, they pay for the cost of getting the poppies to us. We're looking for some funding to actually put the display on in Fed Square, and then of course we'll be looking at other options to fund whatever happens after that with our poppies. Our little committee of two still has a lot of work to do. So everyone that's involved with the project, and there are now many thousands of people involved with the project, are so excited about the prospect. One of the things I haven't talked about is the blog, and because we're short on time I won't do that now, but there are some wonderful stories coming out of this project. People are dedicating poppies to people they want to dedicate poppies to, and that could be anybody. Those stories are published on the blog if they allow us to do that, and there are some wonderful stories there. Ted talked a little bit earlier about making connections with whatever we do with the Anzac projects or commemorative projects, whatever they may be and however they manifest. What we've found is that this little project that started out from sort of a very, very base level has become an incredible way of making connections, incredible. And we're really privileged to be part of it, aren't we, Mark? So thank you for your time. I must say, when Ted came down to have a look at us in Fed Square at that time, he was so blown away by it, he thought that he'd get Neil Mitchell on the phone for me and start to promote it, which was a lovely thing to do, thank you. He then challenged us to make 250,000 poppies. Here's a little present for you, Ted.
Knitting needle and yarn, isn't it?